because canceling isn't real. You're not gonna cancel me, okay? It was me and Moxie. We dropped down, they weren't ready. Our aim was steady.
Yeah, steady.
So when I say uncancelable, who do you think of? Probably Moist Critical, Kai Cenat, or Aiden Ross. And the only person on that list to not have a serious run-in with cancel culture is probably Moist Critical. Although the horrors of imagining Charlie doing something cancelable, like saying a slur in his usual soft monotone voice, is somewhat of a frequent nightmare of mine. But there's two reactions you have when you hear about cancel culture. One, rightfully deplatforming someone who is incorrectly using their platform, and I mean in a malicious way. And the second reaction is that it's an overused tool that most of the time has been incorrectly utilised. When people jump the gun without knowing the full story. It happens a lot. Think of the Quite situation and how people quite easily switch sides as soon as his video dropped, or people double down with no additional evidence to prove their point. So basically, cancel culture is a double-edged sword, with most times it being an overreaction, but what do you do with someone that has multiple run-ins with cancel culture, and most times comes out on top? Enter XQC.
But the shell on turtles, do they spawn with it?
Known as the Juicer, or to others, the Gaming Warlord, or to people outside of his community, spinning Samuel, where he'll spin your entire life savings in a mere 10 seconds. Now I'll be honest, in a couple of my videos I've mentioned I'm an XQC fan. I have been for a while, but I'm not one of those fans that will spread his arse cheeks and give him the Rimjob 9000 with extra spit and the shit kernel cleaning deluxe. In other words, I'm not one of those brainlets that if someone has a distasteful comment or opinion about someone I'm a fan of, I will immediately take it upon myself to harass them and any form of media they've made this opinion on, comment under with support for XQC, which a lot of communities do, believe me. I know. Some people treat it like I've just curb stomped their next of kin, and usually it's just basic criticism. It's almost as if these content creator white knights are part of a hive mind that serves the content creator without them even needing to cultivate it or needing to show any attention to it. People knowingly do this on their own free will for some reason, and their breath probably smells like that streamer's last night main course meal. But if someone criticises XQC, most of his community would probably agree and encourage it, and point and laugh at him, alongside a sea of chatters spamming true. But most of his community would never seriously come to his defense unless it's a serious allegation, obviously. I mean, look at this absolute baboon who speaks like a crack addict Eminem with a speech impediment.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I've seen some of these documentaries. I ain't believe none of that. Hey, the game government and no getting one in the sample, no give my 3D.
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying right now.
Most of the community are just there for his personality and the streams. I'd like to think everything else they don't really care about or would just point and laugh at. But for some parasocial viewers, that's not true. But because no one takes him seriously, he's cultivated a community that is very unique, and along with his personality and said community, has got him out of a lot of tricky situations, where cancel culture comes into play. But XQC has been in a lot of controversies, and I mean a lot. But let's have a look at a few of them, and let me try to explain how I think XQC is actually uncancelable. His first and most dumbest controversy, I think, is when him and another Overwatch player were talking shit to each other, as most gamers do.
Oh, Riot Shield! I'm a pussy that use Riot Shield!
And the supposed victim used his catchphrase when they pummeled his team, and he wasn't even playing, which resulted in XQC saying,
"Shut your fucking mouth, go back there, suck a fat cock." I mean, he would like it, but...
So many games ahead.
And this supposed victim is openly gay. Now, to be honest, I'm going to say the age-old phrase of, in an MW2 lobby, worse things were said.
Hey Ma, I played with my dick today! Nobody cares, it's not a feat!
Or even an Overwatch quick play match.
It's not fun to play 4v5, dumbass. Kill your...
This is an ant in a field of grass. But as always on the internet, people got offended for the victim. And the supposed victim was fine with what XQC said and accepted his apology.
I'm really, not many people in the Overwatch League are willing to banter, and the fact that he is, I enjoy that a lot.
But no, people expanded this situation further than it needed to be, and XQC was suspended and had to pay a fine. But the general argument for XQC was that this was blown out of proportion. But XQC wasn't cancelled, his community stood by him. But this was probably his first run-in with cancel culture, and he paid his fine, did his time, and then got banned a few weeks later, and had another bump-in with his old friend cancel culture, when he put a try-hard emote in the chat, which was convenient because there was a black presenter at the time. And this was on the Overwatch official livestream. And unfortunately, with my linguistic knowledge in Twitch emotes, it used to just mean people are trying too hard, or it's hello, I'm in the chat, but because there was a black presenter on the screen, everyone assumed he was making fun of the fact he was black. So almost in the same year, he received the title of homophobic and now racist. And obviously he tried defending himself, saying he wasn't even looking at the screen, he just put a triad in the chat to let everyone know he was there. And if any of the people actually did their research, they would see that in his previous chat logs, he's done the same thing every time, despite who was presenting at the time. But enough was said. People had already labelled him a racist, and he was dropped from the team he was participating in the Overwatch League with. So cancel culture got him fined and dropped from his Overwatch team. And this is not me shitting on cancel culture, I generally do think it can be used sometimes for good, but in this situation, probably not. It is 2-0 right now and XQC is getting scoreboarded.
Scoreboard! Scoreboard! Oh, what happened to your friend?
But the next one is a lot more recent, and a situation where most content creators would turn their cancel culture guns towards XQC. And if you're in the XQC community, you'd know he's known as the nuclear reactor. Because like most other Twitch streamers, he reacts to other people's content. This is a cooling tower, by the way. We do educate on this channel. But the problem would arise that XQC was reacting to content that was not his, and then videos would get uploaded to his channel of him reacting to that content, either getting around the same amount or significantly more views than that content, even though sometimes he was basically adding nothing to that content, except for occasional grunts and speaking enchantment table.
Okay,
By 1969,
melee range people can barely tell anything about the guy top. This guy, Eagle Eye Andy, robotic, can know every fucking feature of this guy. And
however, Carr's story had notably changed.
But the main point was that he was not really adding much and stealing videos, to the point where he reacted to an hour-long documentary and probably added less value than a hygiene lesson for anyone that uses Twitter. Because not only did he provide barely any input, he also left midway through the documentary and all you could see was a chair. I wonder who that reminds me of. Hassan community? Anyone? But in case any Twitch streamer or anyone is reacting to this video right now, I'm gonna say a derogatory term, because that'll probably get you banned off the platform. I'm joking. Pretty terrible joke, but unless you want to go to those extremes, there's nothing really you can do when people react to your content, like your Twitch stream or YouTube video, and then re-upload it to their platform where they get significantly more views. Because unfortunately, even if they add a cum stain in the top left with minimal reaction, vocally on their part, it still counts as transformative work. And once it's considered transformative work, it's not really your content anymore, they've added to it. Now legally, this is completely fine, but morally, it's not. So you've just uploaded the greatest video ever about anteaters, and to make this video you spent an entire decade with them. This is a decision you obviously regret later on in life, but you know it's going to be a revolutionary video in the anteater community, and very easy to understand by anyone that doesn't know anything about anteaters. And anyone watching it will cream in their pants with excitement. You finally finish editing and upload it, and it pops off. But as soon as it's about to hit major numbers, someone else reacts to it live with the same energy as a rotting corpse and then re-uploads the entire video to their platform. It gets a lot more views than your original video, and people are preferring to watch that video instead of the original video. And you contemplate self-imploding. You've just spent 10 years with a fucking anteater. A long anecdote, but this happens a lot on YouTube, and it does affect the creator in a negative way. Especially if the person has a following like XQC's, where sometimes 30 to 50k people are watching at the same time. And this affects them badly because one, the people watching that video will not go back to watch the original video. And the creator will see no benefit whatsoever except maybe a little subscribers. And two, they won't get much of a viewer base because some people, and most Twitch chatters, with their room temperature IQ, will forget the video and the person that made it in a millisecond after the streamer has cut the video. This is why people like Moist Critical or Charlie have steered away from React content, because it very much harms the creators on YouTube. But he does react to mainstream media like the news, most of the times a car chase, because fuck the news, and fuck the BBC, that's British Broadcasting Channel, not Big Black Cock. However, you could say it could benefit those low view videos that streamers react to, and their video ends up getting noticed because that streamer reacted to it, where it wouldn't have got noticed anyway. But what streamer or content creator is ever going to react to a video with barely any views? But XQC was one of the biggest people doing this, and therefore the biggest target. And alongside a side salad of a terrible response to people criticising him, he would receive the brunt of the hate and cancel culture, where people wanted to deplatform him because he was just re-uploading people's videos. But XQC would weather the storm and still to this day still uploads people's videos. But how in the clusterfuck did he weather that storm? Well, it's down to this. Most of XQC's fans love watching React content. Even though very much a few years ago, him reacting to TikToks used to be a form of him punishing his chat like bamboo torture. But now, like a man of the streets, these people beg for it. And I feel like Pavlov's dog, he's trained them to enjoy React content. Or this generation's brains are just that messed up that we need someone in the corner to also react to the content in order to get that dopamine hit. Or people just feel very lonely and having that person in the corner makes them feel less lonely. Loser. But XQC's fans didn't really take notice of this and just made it a joke. And people even outside his community didn't really care because it was only content creators being affected by this, not them. And unless they were a part of one of the content creators' communities, they really didn't have a reason to care. And my final point, XQC got so big since those last two controversies that you really can't turn his fans against him. And even if you turn one against him, there's like two more to replace that slot. What I'm basically trying to say is he's basically solidified himself on the Twitch and Kick platform. And he's one of the most popular streamers. You basically can't touch him anymore. But yes, he does take a lot of criticism. But as long as he has people to watch him, he isn't really going to see a severe impact. That's why when most YouTubers or content creators get called out for something, they usually just ignore it or just give a very ambiguous apology. And like a dementia patient, most of the internet forgets about it. Unless there's serious allegations and you seriously fucked up. And you may be saying to yourself now, well, it sounds like you hate XQC. No, I still enjoy watching his content. But when it comes to things like this, like a majority of his chat thinks, he's an idiot. And at the end of the day, he's just exploiting a broken system. I'm not excusing what he did, or what he's still doing, but I, like many of his non-parasocial viewers, are just there for the entertainment factor. So far we've had racist, homophobic, video stealer, only one of which is true. The video stealer, I hope I didn't have to clarify that. Two of which cancel culture almost got him, but the recent one mentioned he just tanked out, and he didn't really have to apologise about like he did his last two controversies. The scoreboard between XQC and cancel culture are about to equalise, but one event would lead to two more controversies added to his list, and would not only shroud him in litigation, but also change a lot of people's opinions of him. Or just like me, think he's even more of an idiot, from the way he shot himself in the foot multiple times during this controversy. But I still watch his streams. So let me set the scene. XQC and his ex-girlfriend Adept the Best broke up, which they've done before, but this time it was permanent. She then goes on a smearing campaign telling everyone her and XQC were married all along. And apparently they were under a common law marriage, which is something only some American states do. It basically means to live together as a couple without being married. And it means they can claim spousal support. That means she can take some of his money. But she would double down by saying they were actually married, showing a ring that he had got her and the receipt. And would have a streak of delusional streams and posts on Instagram that would make an unmedicated schizophrenic seem normal. Like seriously, these streams were dreadful.
That's a truthful statement. That's a truthful statement. That's a truthful statement. That's a truthful statement.
It was filled with a bunch of lies and a bunch of points with no evidence, all in an attempt to turn XQC's audience against him. And every time there was a bit of drama with XQC, she would start up her stream again, and either make a meme of the drama or say that they always told everyone how bad he was. And I'm only guessing she did this to get some sub money, because I see no other benefit in doing this except for ruining your own court case, which was still ongoing while she was throwing her shit at the fucking internet like an orangutan. She would make claims that XQC was violent with her and sexually assaulted her. Obviously, this is a huge claim and had a great impact on XQC because he was not allowed to speak about the case, yet she was. He also wasn't allowed to touch his own money except for essentials, and touch his own car which he was in possession of, and even gloated about it on stream, and even went on a date in it. So sexual assault allegations and physical assault allegations were thrown at XQC by the orangutan. So obviously XQC should watch what he says and watch where he steps, right? No, he would make it 10 times worse. Like the absolute degenerate idiot he is. Don't worry, I'm 10 times worse for actually being entertained by this idiot. For some reason, Adept would still be in contact with him, and in one occasion invited him over because she was scared. Now XQC, being the strong stick bug he is, came over to his own house, which he owned and she was staying in, to protect her. And for some reason protect her whilst in bed with her. Supposedly, it was however heavily inferred that he did do this. This was bad for 2 reasons. One, it was against the court order, and she used this to get evidence to try and sway public opinion. Taking pictures of him whilst he was asleep and then putting them on Instagram and looking through his phone and Discord messages to get evidence for the court case whilst also putting them on Instagram. And it really didn't help that whilst all this was happening, he had a girlfriend at the time. You see, being unfaithful and cheating on someone never looks good on anyone, let alone cheating on your partner with someone trying to take all your money away from you. And cancel culture would see it that way as well. So now XQC had a bunch of allegations against him and he was outed for cheating. This guy is going to need a jinxy 1v5 Rainbow Six Siege clutch up. And obviously Adept would put this on blast for everyone and even tell the girl personally that they did do it. This would upset her and it would reach the public. So how would XQC clutch up for his reputation? Well, surprisingly he didn't have to do much. He went on the person he cheated on stream and publicly said, yeah, I cheated, I'm a piece of shit. And basically, that's all he had to do. Because the whole shitstorm with him being in a legal battle and also having a fallout with one of his friends at the time, which was PokerLols and was really fucking confusing, and the fact they were leaking information like he was on Adderall, which isn't surprising, would kind of act as a whole shitstorm to blind everyone, and he was basically able to ride it out. He didn't get cancelled, and the allegations of sexual assault and physical assault fell apart in court. Even with his ex-girlfriend who he had cheated on, coming out and basically defending him, saying he has sleep terrors where he will basically just latch onto you for a bit, which Adept was taking out of context. And XQC would win the overall court case against Adept and put the score of cancel culture against XQC to 3-2. Now, should XQC be cancelled or deplatformed? And you're not going to believe me when I say this, you probably think I'm going to give him a rim job behind 7-Eleven. No. Can he be viewed as an arsehole and idiot? Yes. And if we were cancelling people based on that, then Jake Paul, Logan Paul, a bunch of other YouTubers would not exist. But I think we should reserve cancel culture for people using their platform in a malicious way, or if they're doing borderline illegal activities. And if they're harming someone's mental and physical health purposely. But how is XQC uncancelable? Well, he never really let himself be a victim to it, except for the first 2 times where he came out and apologised for his actions. Apart from those times and going on his ex-girlfriend's stream saying he's an asshole, and yes, he did cheat, there were no twit-longers, there was no him stopping his stream or going on a break, it was just him saying fuck cancel culture majority of the time. And because of him being so prominent on the Twitch and Kick platform, no matter what feces he threw at himself or came his way, people would still be there to watch him and support him. But even though he's had so many run-ins with cancel culture and he's still here, is it okay to watch him? Personally, I'm not your parent, never will be, never wanted to be. You're absolutely dreadful, please stop turning your socks into basically dry ice. But in my opinion, he is an absolute idiot, and he will tell you that. But at the end of the day, it's up to you if you still want to watch him. As I've said, I'm there for the entertainment factor, and I've been watching this guy for like 5 years now. But I'm no longer that level of fan where I'll defend him. Because like many streamers, he's gonna fuck up again. He will do or say something completely idiotic, and then probably double down. And I'm gonna be sat there hoping he's playing Helldivers 2 tonight. But that's it, bye bye.